a movie that bombed hard at the box office in 1994. Today, it's been the #1 film on IMDb for over a decade. Andy Dufresne, a young banker convicted of murdering his wife and her lover, gets thrown into Shawshank, a brutal prison where violence, corruption, and a system designed to break men like twigs rule everything. A masterpiece about friendship, hope, and redemption that hides incredible secrets behind the scenes. The Shawshank Redemption isn't just a prison movie, it's a meditation on time, human dignity, and the ability to dream even when everything seems lost. Today, I'm revealing the most fascinating facts about what many consider the greatest film ever made. Quick heads up, I'll be diving into plot details and the ending. If you haven't seen this masterpiece yet, stop right here, watch it first, then come back. It's an experience worth having at least once in your life without knowing anything. Directed by Frank Darabont and based on Stephen King's novella Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, Warner Brothers considered this project a total failure. Despite 7 Oscar nominations, the film made just $16 million at the box office against a $25 million budget. A commercial disaster. But something extraordinary was about to happen. Cable TV picked it up and aired it hundreds of times. The film exploded. It became a cultural phenomenon, a generational favorite, the greatest comeback story in cinema history. Frank Darabont, then an unknown young screenwriter, bought the rights to King's story for just $5,000, a ridiculously low sum even back then. But here's the detail most people don't know. Years after the film's success, King symbolically returned the original check to Darabont, uncashed, framed, with a handwritten note, "In case you ever need bail money. Love, Steve." King knew immediately that Darabont loved that story with the right kind of passion. He wanted to give it to someone who would respect it, and he was right. Shawshank Prison isn't a Hollywood set. It's the Ohio State Reformatory, a Gothic Victorian structure decommissioned in 1990. A haunting, majestic, perfect location. Darabont saw it and knew immediately. It was too decayed, too cold, too real. This was Shawshank. Real cells, endless corridors, iron staircases that echo with every step. Shooting there meant breathing authenticity. But there was a price. Freezing temperatures in winter, no heating, water leaks everywhere. The crew endured months of brutal conditions, but it was worth it. Every frame bleeds reality. In the early development stages, the role of Andy Dufresne was seriously considered for Tom Cruise, who even participated in some script readings. Cruise liked the screenplay, but had one non-negotiable condition. He would only accept with Rob Reiner directing, not the then-rookie Frank Darabont. The studio even offered Darabont a massive sum to step aside, but Darabont refused without hesitation. The choice of Tim Robbins, less star power, more opaque as a character, proved essential. Cruise would have brought immediate charisma, but Andy Dufresne couldn't be magnetic. He had to be an enigma, a closed door that opens painfully slowly. Robbins understood this. Darabont had been right, and the performance that followed became iconic. Hard to imagine with anyone else today. In Stephen King's original story, Red is a white Irishman with red hair, hence the nickname. But Frank Darabont chose Morgan Freeman because he had what he called the moral gravity necessary for the character. Freeman brings weight, dignity, a voice that seems to come from eternity. And when Andy asks him in the film,
"Why do they call you that?"
Freeman responds with perfect irony.
Maybe it's because I'm Irish.
That line was invented on set. A small self-aware admission that transforms the ethnicity change into poetry. There's a seemingly simple scene. Red in the yard, tossing a baseball back and forth for hours. The shoot lasted 9 consecutive hours. Morgan Freeman never complained, kept throwing that ball all day long. The next day, his arm was completely immobilized. He had to rest for days. Darabont wanted that monotony, that gesture repeated endlessly, representing prison routine. Freeman understood and sacrificed himself. It's the kind of invisible work that builds masterpieces. Frank Darabont belongs to that rare category of directors who practice invisible filmmaking. The camera serves the characters, never becomes the star. Slow dollies, no gratuitous virtuosity, clean cuts. The style seems to disappear, and that's precisely its strength. Darabont loves classic Hollywood cinema, Steinbeck, Capra, Wyler, and he transplants it into the 90s without aging a day. On set, he told the crew, "This movie isn't about prison, it's about being human." He wanted understated performances, dense silences, micro-expressions. His relationship with Robbins and Freeman, total mutual trust. They'd rehearse scenes endlessly without filming, just to find the right rhythm of silence. Darabont was patient, almost zen, and the two actors returned it with performances that feel like breathing, not acting. In contrast to Freeman's warm performance, Robbins becomes the film's silent pole. If Red narrates hope, Andy embodies it, not with words, but with time. Darabont and Robbins agreed on one fundamental point: Andy must never appear as a victim. His resistance doesn't come through anger or desperation, but through control and patience. Tim Robbins builds Andy Dufresne through what he doesn't do. The character never explains himself, never seeks empathy, never explodes. Andy observes, listens, waits. Robbins chose a restrained register, almost impassive, made of silences, controlled posture, minimal gestures. Andy never internalizes the prison mentality. His strength isn't physical, it's mental. He's a man who always thinks 2 steps ahead. He moves deliberately, maintains an almost unnatural posture for Shawshank, speaks in always measured tones. He protects his interiority as the last space of freedom. And we only understand everything in the third act. What seemed like passivity was discipline. What seemed like distance was clarity. Andy was never standing still. He was always 1 step ahead. This is perhaps the most celebrated sequence. Andy breaks every rule and broadcasts Mozart over the prison speakers. The piece is the duettino Sull'aria from The Marriage of Figaro, 2 female voices of impossible beauty. Darabont chose that piece because in the opera, it's about a deception orchestrated with cunning, exactly what Andy is doing. And here's another fascinating detail. During filming, Freeman asked that the music be actually played on set, not added later. He wanted an authentic reaction. That suspended, moved, incredulous look on his face. It's real. And notice, it's the only moment in the film where the narrator stops talking. Red gives space to the music. Total silence from the voice, to let hope speak. Immersive genius. Every poster Andy uses to cover the tunnel has precise meaning. Rita Hayworth represents mental escape, fantasy. Marilyn Monroe represents fleeting glory and the American dream. Raquel Welch represents physical freedom, the body rebelling. They're visual chapters of Andy's journey. And there's another detail. Andy's cell constantly changes. More books, fewer books, objects appearing. The growth of his small library physically represents his mind opening, never stopping thinking. Darabont filled every frame with micro gestures. The way Andy adjusts his tie, Red's pauses, the poster rustling slightly. It's an obsession with detail that makes the film grow with every viewing. The cinematography is by Roger Deakins, one of the greatest living directors of photography. Deakins avoided traditional cinematic lighting. No strategic lights, no constructed beauty. He wanted Shawshank to look documentary, real, dirty, and he succeeded. At the beginning, cold blue-gray dominates, metallic, representing the alienation of the prison system. As the story progresses, warmer tones enter, muted oranges, sandy yellows, when the relationship between Andy and Red creates humanity. But watch carefully. Green is almost completely absent throughout the film. It only reappears in the final scenes at Zihuatanejo. It's a powerfully visual code. Green is the freedom Andy chases for 19 years, and we viewers only see it when he finally conquers it. The iconic scene of Andy in the pouring rain, arms raised, head tilted back, finally free, was shot in a single night with freezing water and a giant irrigation system. Tim Robbins stood motionless for minutes with his arms raised, shivering from cold, while the crew prayed no water jets would break. Darabont wanted a baptism, a rebirth. Andy literally emerges from a tunnel of shit and gets washed by rain, purified. It's biblical symbolism made physical, real, sweated. Robbins said afterward, "I wasn't acting freedom. I was really feeling it in that moment." Warner Brothers wanted a more explicit ending. Andy and Red hugging on the beach. Darabont strongly refused. He wanted a more poetic, open closure. Red walking on the sand toward Andy without knowing exactly what happens next. But the studio inserted a very brief beach scene anyway, to reassure the audience. It's a compromise Darabont reluctantly accepted. Today, many critics say it would have been even more powerful to end with Red on the bus, leaving everything to imagination. But that final scene has its own charm. After 2 hours of gray, seeing the infinite blue of the Pacific is pure catharsis. What the box office rejected, time has crowned. That #1 spot on IMDb, it's been there year after year. Not even The Godfather has held it this long. It's a record that says something profound. This film speaks to everyone, always, everywhere. Maybe it's not the most technically perfect film ever made, not the most innovative, but it's the one that more people worldwide consider their favorite. Why? Because it talks about hope without being naive, about friendship without being saccharine, about freedom as an interior conquest before a physical one. The Shawshank Redemption isn't a film about prison, it's a film about time. Andy spends 19 years digging that tunnel. 19. He doesn't escape in one night of improvised genius. He digs day after day, year after year. It's proof that true freedom requires discipline, patience, faith in something you can't see yet. And Red is the other side, the man who stopped hoping because hoping hurts too much. The film is Red's journey, learning to believe again, thanks to Andy. The Shawshank Redemption is the story of a friendship that saves two men from inner death. That's why it endures. That's why it's immortal. These were the facts about The Shawshank Redemption, the film that turned a flop into a legend. Which scene hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into cinema, leave a like and subscribe. Your support helps us keep exploring the greatest films ever made. And remember, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.